Always speaking.
That was
Yeah. We should start every podcast like that.
with a song.
Let's keep it like this. That's the intro.
That's the intro.
That's the intro, man.
I wonder if that's copyrighted.
Is it from his mixtape? Sounds like it's from mixtape days.
Yeah, it's it's like let's say unreleased one.
Is it before camp?
No, it's in between. It's in between camp and Because the Internet. It's like mid 2013.
It's a gem.
It's fire.
Yeah.
He had that
What
one
is
and this other one called Centipede.
What does Centipede sound like?
What's the other one? Centipede?
You should play Centipede.
You want me to play Centipede?
I wonder if Craigbot can record Rhythmbot audios.
Yeah, I wonder. We're gonna find out, aren't we? Shit. Here, this is Centipede.
It's your time.
Yeah, that's Centipede. Centipede's fire.
So these songs are from like between camp and Because of the Internet.
Yeah.
Yo, you know what I don't like about Because of the Internet? Like, I feel like you know how he wrote like a script for a movie for it and along for the album. I feel like the concept for the album was like and everything that came along with it is like way too much.
Like complex.
Yeah, it's way too complex, and I feel like the music and the lyrics that came in just the album is like not enough to portray like everything else that came with the album.
See,
you know what I mean?
Because the Internet is personally my favorite Childish Gambino album, and this is what I think. I think the thing is that he's talked about before how he's talking in the album. He's talking through 3 different perspectives. So he's talking about the perspective of the character in the script. He's talking about the perspective through himself, and he's talking about the perspective through Childish Gambino.
Right.
So like that is like definitely something that's hard to like that's definitely something that's hard to differentiate throughout the album. You know? Because like there's it's just the songs like go through different where you hear a song and you're like, oh, this makes sense script wise. But then you hear another one where you're like, this sounds really personal. And then you hear another one where you're like, this is just braggadocio, not really personal enough. And it's kind of hard to differentiate, you know?
Yeah. And that's what I didn't really like about it. Like, I feel like the album part should be like stronger than most albums and other parts.
I liked it. I personally was a huge fan. And I also was a huge fan of like, if you want to talk about just like personal Childish Gambino, like where he was just, there was no concept to it, was the Cul-de-sac EP Camp. Like Cul-de-sac and Camp. I don't think a lot of people know, but I'm pretty sure Cul-de-sac and Camp are 2 parts. So it's, if you listen to everything in order, you're supposed to listen to it like Cul-de-sac, then EP, then Camp. And they all lead right into each other.
Yeah, apparently Camp is supposed to lead into Because of the Internet. Have you heard about that?
I did not.
Because the kid, that's like the main character, the kid, and Because of the Internet, in the script of it, right? So the kid came back from the camp that he went to, and that's how they're connected. Apparently.
Oh, so it's supposed to be like the kid is grown up.
Well, not grown up, but like the things that happened in because of the internet are the things that happened after he came back from the camp.
Yeah, yeah. It's also interesting too,
Right.
like because like he did the clapping for the wrong reasons thing.
Yeah.
And that added even more confusion.
See, I didn't really even get what that like mini movie was about because that was like really cryptic.
Yeah, it was weird. He just dropped like too much like he dropped that album, he did a bunch of weird promotional things for it. He had the script and then, then he had the fucking then he had the clapping for the wrong reasons. And I don't know, it was so complex. It was really, really complex. But I think if you take because the internet, I think the basis of it, which I thought was like the best explanation for the basis of it, was like this the concept of um the concept and idea of like because the internet is an album that was directly influenced by the internet, and it was one of the first albums that I would honestly say was like it like predicted the internet era of music. And
Right.
like it was like the first of its class to be like fully like because the internet, it made sense because it was like coming out, and it came out in 2013, so this was like right before streaming. This was like most modern streaming didn't come out until 2015, so that's like two years later. And then CDs were still a thing. It was right in this transitional period where the internet really started to take storm. 2013 was around the time too when copywriting started being a thing, and that's one of the reasons why a lot of websites like DatPiff and SoundCloud and everything like that started to really. That's why around 2015, 2016, those things were obsolete because it was starting to die down because it was the era had started. So I feel like that album was a really good like transitional piece, honestly.
Yeah.
I feel like it still holds up today.
It kind of does. There's just, in my opinion, there's just a little bit too much it's like overproduced. Because like right now, I feel like most music like really trap influence. So there's like always the constant hi hat and the
Yeah.
808s, and then it's just like whatever else samples that the producer wants to like throw in there. But it sounds really standard and simple. So it's really weird. Like right now, it's like in the music scene, it's like really minimalistic compared to like just like 4 years ago, where it was like because the internet, My Beautiful Dark Fantasy, and all that, that's like so overly produced.
It's funny? You say like 3 or 4 years ago, and those albums were so long ago. We're just old as fuck. Like, dude.
Wait, was that 3 to 4 years ago, or am I just
No, because the
wrong?
internet was, let's see,
Jesus, 5 years ago maybe.
7
Six.
years ago. It was 7 years ago. My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy was 10 years ago.
I feel like it just dropped.
I know, because we were around in that era. We were right there with it. Fucking you know what? I was actually so